A very good evening. Welcome to State of Business on our television. I'm Ashing Bejo Singh. Let's have a look at the headlines first. Sri Lanka and India signs an MOU for community development projects at a cost of over 600 million rupees. Sri Lanka's COVID-19 recovery toll surpasses 10,000. News in detail. The total number of coronavirus recoveries in the country surpassed the 10,000 mark today as 646 individuals infected with COVID-19 were discharged today upon recovery from the virus. Moreover, the Department of Government Information states that 1,409,578 families who lost their incomes owing to the second wave of COVID-19 have been provided the 5,000 rupee allowance from October to yesterday. The Department of Government Information issuing a statement at 4 p.m. today announced that the death toll due to the coronavirus in Sri Lanka has reached 44. A 40-year-old male who is a resident of Colombo 11 died on admission to the Colombo National Hospital, and the cause of the death is reported as a heart attack caused by the COVID-19 virus infection. A 45-year-old male from Kelaniya who had been receiving treatment at the Hambantota District Hospital since November 1st after being identified as COVID-19 positive had died. Earlier today, it was confirmed that an 80-year-old male who is a resident of Panadura has died on admission to the police hospital and that the post-mortem revealed the cause of the death as a heart attack caused by the COVID-19 virus infection. The dual COVID-19 cluster that emerged from Devulapitiya and Paliyagoda exceeded 11,000 cases yesterday with the identification of 430 patients among contacts of the Paliyagoda COVID-19 cluster yesterday. Meanwhile, health authorities announced that another 309 tested positive for COVID-19 as at 6:30 p.m. today. They have been identified as contacts of previous patients. Thus, the overall COVID-19 cases tally has neared 15,000 while virus recovery tally has stood at 10,183. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa directs the officials who are combating the COVID-19 to prevent people from travelling to other areas from the Western Province. The decision was taken as higher number of cases were reported from the Western Province during last few days. The Department of Government Information states that 43,376 families who are quarantined at their houses from the period of October to yesterday have received a dry ration packet worth 10,000 rupees. It was further added that 7.56 billion rupees have been allocated to provide relief for the destitute people affected by the COVID-19. Moreover, it was noted that 7,500 families in Colombo district, 7,000 families in Gampaha district and 4,000 families in Kaluthara district have been provided with a relief dry ration packet. Moreover, the Committee of COVID-19 Prevention Task Force met today morning and discussed plans to be further made to avoid the contacts between the patients and COVID-19 contacted patients and to further update the health officials on the latest protocols to be taken in containing the virus. Meanwhile, police spokesman DIG Ajit Rohana said that arrangements have been made to operate all the services of the Colombo Manning Market at another place in Paliyagoda area. He also asked all the Manning Market employees to make sure they underwent the PCR tests.
The Manning Market of Peta is going to be open in another location in Paliyagoda area temporary because many employees of Manning Market had been discovered as positive cases. Therefore, by Monday, the authorities are going to open Manning Market in Paliyagoda area. The infrastructure facilities in respect of the premises are being developed at the moment by various institutions. The employees of Manning Market are allowed to perform their day-to-day duties at the new premises, the temporary premises. However, they should be cleared from a PCR test accordingly.
Sri Lanka and India have signed a memorandum of understanding yesterday for community development projects implemented in the country at a cost of over 600 million rupees under Indian aid grant for next 5 years. Secretary to the Ministry of Finance S.R. Artigala and High Commissioner of India to Sri Lanka Gopal Bagle had signed the MOU in the presence of Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa at his official residence in Vijayarama yesterday. The MOU was initially signed in 2005 during the presidential term of Mahinda Rajapaksa, and it was subsequently extended every 5 years. Therefore, the cost of special developmental projects related to this agreement exceeds 300 million rupees. Another 300 million rupees will be spent on small-scale developmental projects regarding resettlement, housing, livelihoods, employment, women empowerment, vocational training, education and research, cultural activities, sports, industrial development, medical centers, hospital infrastructure development, and medical equipment supply. Thus, these projects will thereby continue in accordance with the renewed agreement. The Port of Colombo was adjudged as the best container terminal in Asia by the International Container Terminals for a record 4th consecutive year. The award was announced at the 2020 Asian Freight, Logistics and Supply Chain Awards, or mostly known as AFLAS Awards, in Hong Kong this Monday. International Container Terminals brought honour to the Port of Colombo, awarding the best container terminal in Asia under 4 million 20-foot equivalent unit category. CICT, which is managed by China Merchants Port Group, beat 3 other shortlisted finalists in its category: Busan New Container Terminal in South Korea, Dalian International Container Terminal in China, and Jakarta International Container Terminal in Indonesia, to win the prestigious award. Hosted by Asia Cargo News, the AFLAS Awards are designed to honour leading service providers including air and shipping lines, airports and seaports and logistics, 3PLs and other associated industry professionals for demonstrating leadership as well as consistency in service quality, innovation, customer relationship management and reliability. The AFLAS winners are decided by going through a 3-step process taking into account industry opinions and through nomination criteria and technical evaluation by Asia Cargo News. The short list of finalists is sent out to more than 15,000 readers to vote. CICT manages the South Terminal of the Port of Colombo, the first and currently the only deep water terminal in South Asia, which is equipped with facilities to handle the largest vessels afloat. Since its inception in 2014, the terminal has incrementally grown the volume it has handled from 686,639 20-foot equivalent units in 2014 to 2.9 million 20-foot equivalent units in 2019. Stay tuned for more news after this short break. Welcome back after the break. Issuing its quarterly economic update, rating firm ICRA Lanka states that Sri Lanka's economy would contract by 8.2% to 10.9% in 2020. Moreover, it predicts that the knock-on effect of the production disruptions caused by the new wave of COVID-19 will adversely affect the export volumes in the 4th quarter. ICRA Lanka noted that based on the current situation of the country, it projects a GDP contraction in the range of 7.9 to 17.8% for 4th quarter of 2020. It also adds that the bleaker outlook in the economy could derail the current credit expansion further and weaken aggregate demand. Headline inflation is likely to remain around 4 to 4.5%, but the food inflation may remain at upper single-digit level, the rating firm added. Dwelling upon the outlook for the 4th quarter, ICRA states that businesses may scale down operations, leading to rise in unemployment and stagnant wages, and that the factory shutdowns could affect the export volumes moving forward, which in turn negatively affect the trade balance. Moreover, it notes that the monthly exports remained around $1 billion mark during 3rd quarter, led by the apparels and commercial crops. Better than expected performance of exports together with import controls contributed to a noteworthy improvement in trade deficit up to August in 3rd quarter, along with remittances bouncing back faster from April. Cabinet approval has been given for the construction of a new bridge across Rajagiriya and Nawala Canal connecting the Angampitiya Road at Atulkote and School Lane in Rajagiriya, Nawala. Limited competitive bids are called to award the contract for the construction of a new bridge across Rajagiriya and Nawala Canal connecting Angampitiya Road at Atulkote and School Lane in Rajagiriya at Nawala. Accordingly, the proposal to award the relevant contract to the State Development and Design Corporation for a sum of 1,698.55 million rupees as recommended by the Standing Committee on Procurement appointed by the Cabinet of Ministers was approved by the Cabinet of Ministers. The Cabinet approval has been granted earlier to implement a program to provide tea plants free of charge to restore tea plantations damaged due to high temperature and drought. Thus, 3.5 million tea plants worth 105 million rupees had been distributed accordingly, and another 2.5 million tea plants worth 75 million rupees are planned to be distributed within the year. Moreover, approval of the Cabinet of Ministers was granted to award the contract for construction of water supplying systems and pipe laying in Jaffna urban area, which is one of the components of Jaffna Kilinochchi water supply and sanitization project, to MSNCC company for a sum of 3,160.2 million rupees. Based on a United Nations Conference on Trade and Development report, the global tourism industry will cause a loss of 1.5% to 2.8% on global gross domestic production, and it would translate to a 1.17 trillion US dollars to 2.22 trillion US dollar loss for the global economy. It was further noted that 730 billion US dollar loss in global tourism exports from January to August 2020 has incurred. On a critical note, tourism is ranked as the third largest export sector in the global economy, and it accounts for over 30% of exports for many of the small island developing states. On the other hand, between January and August 2020, the number of international tourist arrivals has dropped by 70% according to the World Tourism Organization. Moreover, according to the latest external report of Central Bank of Sri Lanka, total tourist arrivals remained at 507,311 during the 9 months ending September 2020, compared to 1,376,312 arrivals recorded during the corresponding period in 2019. Further, cumulative earnings from tourism, which are estimated based on tourist arrivals, remained at 956 million US dollars during the year up to September 2020, thus recording a drop of 63.1% from the corresponding period of 2019. We'll be back with stock updates after this short break. Welcome back after the break. The trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on a positive note today. The all-share price index gained 2.04 points to close at 6,097.93, and the S&P SL20 gained 20.95 points to close at 2,432.55. Turnover was 3 billion rupees and over 90 million shares were traded. Up next are forex rates. And that's all the news for today. See you tomorrow with State of Business at the usual time. Until then, take care. Good night.